How is everybody? How is everybody? How is everybody? Osio, Shalom, Salam, Namaste, Alafia, Hotel. You hear me? How everybody doing? I hope everybody feeling good for no reason at all, already and vibrate, operating. Being the highest illustration and the best demonstration, that you could be. You hear me? I'm feeling good for no reason at all. You hear me? At least I had to get myself there. You hear me? The energy been crazy. I know I ain't the only one feeling it. But I'm here, you hear me? In the space I prefer to be. And I hope y'all doing the same. I was thinking, and it's actually been on my mind, the past few days, gratitude, how we spend our time, where we spend our time, and how we spend our time once again, in thought and gratitude. If we spend time in proper time on thinking about what we don't have, or too much time focused on what we would like to have more of, it's easy to lose sight in all we don't accomplish. It's easy to lose sight, in all we have in our life. It's easy to lose sight in all who we have in our life and misappreciate those things, or it's easy to lose sight and appreciation for what we do have in our life and misappreciate those things, So is anybody happy for what they do got right now in this moment? You hear me? Is anybody grateful for what they do got right now in this moment? You hear me? Because we all got something to be grateful for, And I say that because internal well-being shouldn't be determined or defined by external stimulation. If you don't decide how you're going to interact with things or the outside world, things outside of you, meaning things outside of you, it will decide for you. You don't listen, you're going to miss it. And somebody may need to catch that, And for myself, it's a reminder because I've been there. So I'm going to say it again. If you don't decide how you're going to interact with things external of you, things external of you will decide it for you. And the beauty is that once you become aware of that, you get to choose. That's the best kept secret that we all know. But depending on if we internal or external, most don't exercise. You get to choose. If you don't master matter, master will master you. You hear me? And I say that because every win not outside of you. Every win not outside of me. I have to remind myself of that so I don't get flipped inside out. Every win not outside of you, and every win not loud. Every win don't have to be broadcasted. And if you understand that, that's a win. You hear me? Now I know some of y'all wondering where am I going? Just walk with me. Every win not outside and every win not loud. And if you understand that, that's a win. And I say that because to get to the good part, if you could be silenced in the midst of the noise, that's a win. If you got peace, if you in peace, and therefore you can use peace in all your situations, that's a win. If you if you got comfort, if you in comfort, and if you use comfort, that's a win. If you got self-love, if you use self-love, and if you in self-love, that's a win. if 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 you can move freely, that's a win. If you in support, if you got support, and if you use support, that's a win. Mentally, emotionally, as well as physically, but mostly mentally and emotionally, that's a win for your internal well-being. Cause we talk about the inside of things, not the outside of things. You know, that's a win. If you got opportunity, if you use opportunities, and if you in opportunity, because you are opportunity, that's a win. If you got joy, if you enjoy, if you use joy to help you stay how you need to be, feeling good for no reason at all, that's a win. You hear me? If you in calm, if you use calm, if you got calmness, that's a win. Anybody catching it? If you in happiness, if you got happiness, if you use happiness, that's a win. What about contentment? Anybody content? In your process of growing and adding on, is anybody content right now where you are with yourself? Not with what you have, not with things or none of that. With yourself. Is anybody content? Because that's a win. You know, if you got spiritual guidance, if you in spiritual guidance, if you use spiritual guidance, ancestral or otherwise, you know, to assist yourself and assist others where needed, that's a win. How many of us got a restful nature? Going back to being the silence and the noise, which is another word for stillness. How many of us know how to get in the stillness, know how to sit in the stillness, know how to use the stillness in ourselves to bring about better control and how we move amongst things outside of us, because that's a win. Restful nature. Know how much that's lacking. Know how much that's lacking around you if you got it. You hear me? If you got balance, if you in balance, if you use balance, that's a win. One person in alignment worth a million who not. And it's a million who not. You hear me? So if you got balance, that's a win. You know? Harmony. If you got it, if you use it, if you in harmony, that's a win. That's a win, man. No. You'll be, man. If you know, you know. We can look anywhere outside of us and see where harmony not. So if you in it, you got it. You in it, that's a win. Healing, mental healing, emotional healing, spiritual healing. If you after that, if you or if you got that, or if you in that, man, that's a win, man. Angels and demons, man. It's war out here. But if you in healing, mentally and emotionally, that's a win. You hear me? If you got love in your being, you know, you got love, you know, self-love, which if I think I spoke to that, you know, but if you got self-love, You got love. You got love for all, cause you can't have self love without having love for others, without having love in your being. You know, you gotta have self love to have love for anything outside of you, to love anything outside of you. You hear me? And for those that do, that's a win. You hear me? That's a win. Emotional intelligence, aka maturity, cause there's a lot of grown children. If you're not one, if you got that, if you in that, and if you use that to help you navigate, that's a win. You know? How many of us don't grow today? I ain't gonna talk about the last 3 months. I ain't gonna talk about the last 6 months. I ain't gonna talk about over the last year. You know? But that count too. But how many of us grow today? You got growth in your life. If you use growth in your life, if you in growth in your life, and if you the example of growth in your life, that's a win. And don't think everybody else don't see it that know you. You hear me? You probably unrecognizable to them. You hear me? You got spiritual hygiene. You know, if you got spiritual hygiene, and if you got spiritual hygiene, that's a win. Keep it maintained. You hear me? You gotta stay in maintenance. You know, spiritual hygiene is self-maintenance. You know, that's a win. You hear me? You got vibrational and energetic awareness. If you use vibrational and energetic awareness, if you in vibrational and energetic awareness, man, that's a win. I salute you. Cause everybody don't know energy like they may be claiming. Everybody don't know energy like you may know it. That's a win. You hear me? It show you how to move. You heard? And it show you and it show you how not to move. You hear me? You know? If you got inner abundance. Cause all these things that I don't spoke to, speak about the abundance that's not tangible, you know, but signify abundance. If you got inner abundance, that's a win. If you use inner abundance, that's a win. If you in inner abundance, that's a win. Somebody complaining right now somewhere. See, lack of gratitude somewhere right now. So you in inner abundance. If you got it or you use it, that's a win. You know, discernment, intuition. If you got it, if you use it, if you in it, or if you are it, that's a win. See, inner guidance come with having inner abundance, and discernment and intuition and deal with inner guidance. That's a win. You hear me? Spiritual protection. Spiritual protection. Because spiritual protection is mental and emotional protection. You know, energetic and vibrational awareness. You gotta be energetic and vibrationally aware, you know, and mentally and emotionally attuned to be in a form of protection. That's a win. That's a win, you know. We all living in life. That's a win, but most don't see the win in it. If you come across this video, you got life. If you come across this video, you in life. Now how you using your life, I don't know. You hear me? But regardless of that, that's a win. But do you see it? Do you recognize it? You know, can you see the positive through the negative occurrences of what's happening? If you can see the positive in the negatives, or through the negatives that's happening, that's a win. You hear me? It's all about perception, and it's all about perspective. You hear me? And I say that to say it's always a bigger picture. And if you can see the bigger picture, regardless of what, of who, or where, that's a win. You hear me? You hear me? Because we either going to choose where our energy go, or let the world decide for us. And if you choosing where your energy go, if you choosing how you use your energy, if you choosing how you in your energy, that's a win. Don't worry about what the contrast look like. Contrast gonna always be there to give you an opportunity to choose. You hear me? Whether you gonna stay in what's causing the contrast for you or make something better of it. You hear me? And if you make something better of it, regardless of how contrast show up, that's a win. You heard? That's a win. You know? I just came through the sad fruit things. They ain't come to keep us long. I was woke up out my sleep at 11 something. You know? So I'd rather get woke up at 11 something. Because I was tired. I had a busy day today. Last few days to be, as a matter of fact, you know. But, you know, it's neither here nor there. I showed up. You hear me? But I just came through the sad fruit thing to put some positive charge in the atmosphere. And remind us to stay up and let nothing get you down, you know. Hold your light as well as your darkness, and find balance between those two polarities. You hear me? They both serve a purpose. You heard? They both serve a purpose, and give us some work to do. Other than that, man, feel good for no reason at all. Stillness, abundance, love, light, health, wholeness. You hear me? You know, in all things, you know, through all things, and as all things, you know. And until we do it again, I'm known as Sawu. Be you how you be you. You heard? Feel good for no reason at all. If you could do that, that's a win. You heard? Peace and love, family.